Okay, hello everyone. The meeting will now come to order. Welcome everybody to the Property Standards Hearing Committee. My name is Matthew Boldy and I will be the chair presiding today's meeting in accordance with the Statutory Powers Procedures Act. Pursuant to subsection 15.3 subclause 3.1 of the Building Code Act, the Property Standards Committee has all the powers and functions of the officer which made the order, and the committee may do any of the following things if in the committee's opinion doing so would maintain the general intent and purpose of the property standards bylaw. We can confirm, modify, or rescind the order to demolish or repair, or extend the time for complying with the order. Today's meeting is live streamed and members of the public are advised that our meetings are live streamed by the City of St. Catharines. Individuals and media may be audibly and or visually recorded during this meeting. As a reminder, all electronic devices are to be in silent mode during our committee meeting. By participating in the open public meeting today, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded and posted online. I'd like to introduce our committee member, Vice Chair Tom Neal, and committee member Brianna Nieto as well. Thank you guys for giving us your time. We begin this gathering by acknowledging the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Acknowledging this reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous people. So the first order of business today, are there any motions brought forth to add or delete any items for the agenda?
There are not.
Thank you. None noted. Next, we have a motion to approve today's agenda. Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Okay. Tom? Carried. Motion to confirm our previous meetings minutes, November 14th. Could I get a seconder?
Second.
Brianna, thank you. Carried. Okay, so do any of the committee members have pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in the hearing today?
No.
Okay. None noted. Does anyone here speaking to the property standards appeal hearing request to adjourn or postpone today's hearing?
I do not believe so.
Okay, none noted. So our first and only hearing today is to consider an appeal under the Property Standards Bylaw 2014-248 as amended by Gurdev and Baljinder Bhattar regarding the decision of the Property Standards Officer to issue an order with 17 items of contravention against the property municipally known as 23 Raymond Street. The rules of evidence of the Property Standards Appeal Committee are informal. However, anyone giving evidence at this hearing as a witness must first affirm under oath to tell the truth. The way in which the hearing will proceed is as follows. First, the city's case presenter will bring its case, including an overview of the investigation and circumstances leading to the issuance of the order. Second, the appellant will have an opportunity to ask questions of each of the city's witnesses, after which the city's case presenter may reply if necessary. Third, the committee will then debate the matter and ask questions if desired from the case presenter, the appellants, or any other staff present. Fourth, the appellant will present its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses. Fifth, the city's case presenter will have an opportunity to ask questions of the appellant and any witnesses for the appellant, after which the appellant may reply if necessary. Sixth, The Property Standards Appeal Committee members in a defined order will then have an opportunity to ask questions of clarification of the appellant and its witnesses. Seventh, the case presenter and the appellant will then make closing submissions in order to summarize their evidence, their position, and the decision being asked of the Property Standards Appeal Committee. All questions to witnesses, whether from the case presenter, the Property Standards Appeal Committee, or appellant, must be related to matters that are relevant to the hearing. The Property Standards Appeal Committee may recall a witness for the purpose of clarifying a point that has arisen since the witness has concluded their main presentation. In addition, any person giving evidence may refuse to answer any question asked of them if the answer may tend to incriminate them or may tend to establish their liability in a civil proceeding. After hearing all of the evidence and submissions, the hearing is completed. The Property Standards Appeal Committee will then make its decision. If the committee would like to deliberate in private behind camera, then a motion must be made. Before starting, I would like to reiterate that we are here today to discuss the particulars of the property standards order, and the appellant is to set out specifically what the appeal is for example, extension of time to rescind or modify the order. So Officer Dressel, this is your opportunity to provide an overview of the circumstances leading to the issuance of the order. Before doing so, I will have Madam Secretary Treasurer read you your oath of truth. Sorry, Jane, I think you're muted.
I am. Officer Dressel, do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Through the chair, on behalf of the city, I'd just like to do the introduction and then call Officer Dressel to provide his evidence.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this this matters regards to 23 Raymond Street. It is a 2-story wood exterior duplex residential building in the city of St. Catharines. A complaint was forwarded to the Bylaw Enforcement Department on October 25th through the Niagara Regional Police with regards to numerous defects at the property. And as a result, Officer Dressel did attend and conduct an inspection, and I would like to call upon him to present his evidence at this time.
Thank you, Shauna. So yes, a complaint was received. We did an inspection on November 2nd throughout the property. Numerous violations were found, including from the exterior of the property, peeling paint, cracked wood, rotting wood on windowsills, door frames. The front deck had rotting wood. There's broken windows on the property as well, numerous throughout. Upon entering the property, if we can reference the pictures in Appendix D. As you go through, you can see the pictures go from the exterior to the interior. I apologize, there's no page numbers. However, you'll see as we get to the interior pictures, thank you for sharing that on the screen. So this is the exterior pictures of the house with the peeling paint, rotting wood. There's foundation cracks around the exterior, the rear. The front deck has rotting wood. One of the officers did fall through the deck while we were there. Upon entering, there's holes in the walls and ceilings. There's black mold on the ceilings due to a water leak from the plumbing of the bathroom above it. As you can see, there's debris and waste throughout on the stairs, throughout the common hallways, in the units, roughly 3 feet deep of debris and waste throughout the property. There was running water. However, the sinks have dead mice and rats in them. Some rooms, as you can see in these pictures, were blocked. We could not open the doors to even get into the rooms. They were so full with items and debris. In that last picture, you'll see the dead mouse in the sink. Again, all this debris is upstairs in that unit. In some of these rooms, again, the door we could only open a certain amount just to sneak a camera in to get a picture. You'll see buckets. Those buckets were the washrooms that were being used. They are stored in the hallways. There is also fecal matter spread on the walls throughout the upper unit. There's bugs, flies, cockroaches, everything running around in that upstairs unit as well. Holes throughout almost every wall. Ceiling fans and light fixtures are missing, broken, defective. And the general cleanliness of the upper unit. So again, this is out front, back to the deck, and then we'll go into the lower unit, which has less issues. However, it's still in the same condition. There's still holes. It's still extremely dirty. There is bugs, evidence of mice and rats throughout. There does appear to be some sort of water damage on the wall from a previous leak. This is the bathroom where you can see it's not watertight. Water is getting behind the wall, causing further damage. And just some general pictures of the condition of the property in the lower unit. Again, that's the bathtub surround wood. It's rotted. This is over the bathtub as well in the lower unit. And there are currently people in both these units living. Outside, we have the eavesdrops and downspouts weren't connected. There is, again, the rotting wood throughout soffits, fascia, windowsills, door frames, and then the foundation crack around the rear, which is fairly large in size. And the front wood doors that have been kicked in. Now, this picture was taken from someone's cell phone there. We did not get access into the washroom as there was an individual blocking access. So they showed me a picture of their phone from a previous day, and I snapped a picture of that as we did not get into the bathroom. We did have Niagara Regional Police with us, but we were not able to gain access into that room. And because of all these issues, the property standards order was issued.
Okay. Thank you, Officer Dressel. The appellant or the appellant's agent may now have the opportunity to ask Officer Dressel any questions related to the evidence just presented.
No questions. I mean, I think it's more than apparent that this building needs to be demolished.
Okay, thank you. So now the committee members have the opportunity to ask questions of the city's case presenter and or witnesses. So I'll ask each member in the following order. So we'll start with Tom, Tom Neal.
Yeah, I think most of my questions were already answered, other than are we able to be told if the complaint came from a tenant or a member of the public?
Through the chair, the complaint came to our office through Niagara Regional Police. That's the information we had at the time. We are not aware of who originated that complaint through the police.
And this is the first complaint that's been identified for this property?
For property standards, yes.
Okay.
Okay, Member Nieto, do you have any questions? Officer Dressel.
I was wondering if you could just go through the list of the specific charges. I know that they're on there, but I just want to go through them one more time on record.
I'm just going to pull it up in front of me.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so would you like to go through every item?
If you could give kind of like an overview of each item, just because there's quite a list, and I just want to make sure that what I'm seeing is also what I'm seeing here.
Okay, so basically we started with the information that the house could be for an option to be demolished, as if the repairs were too expensive, or if it wasn't worth to do the repairs, to have the option to demolish the building itself, which would be the first item there that you'd see. And then moving on from that, we went, basically I do it in order of the property standards bylaw. So it was basically going through, making sure, so some of these are the foundation cracks. That would be the next one, to make sure that it's safe, along with the deck. This one, the basement crawl space. So that's for all the moisture, rodents, insects, everything that's in the building there. As we move along, we have the windows and exterior doors for all our cracked, broken windows, rotting wood, those items. And then, of course, number 5 is for pest control with vermin, as there was evidence of the mice and rats, cockroaches, and other several bugs in there. Number 6 would be for the windows, lack of screens, which all the windows need to be screened. Number 7, it would be the exterior walls for all the any peeling paint, the wood, the deterioration of the wood that need to be repaired through the exterior. Number 8 was for every floor, wall, to clean basically both units in that house to get them free of the debris and rubbish that's in there, so you can move around. The number 9 is for moisture that's in walls, floor, the evidence of the water leak in the lower unit that's bubbling in the paint. Number 10 is for the floorboards or any boards that are in a dangerous condition, that will allow the rodents to get in, defective floors to be repaired throughout the building. The plumbing fixtures that need to be fixed in good condition. Number 12 is for the eavesdrops and downspouts that aren't connected. They need to be all hooked up and draining properly. 13 is for the holes in the walls, that they need to be in good repair. 14 is for the bathroom to have a watertight walls around it, so it can be readily cleaned and stay in that condition. 15 is the stairs, the deck, all the rotting wood that would need to be replaced on the front deck from, like I said, there's a hole right through it as we were there. Number 16 are the exterior front doors. They're wood doors that could easily be kicked open. They need to be changed over to steel doors. The plumbing needs to be in working order in the building. That's number 17.
Thank you. No further questions. I just wanted to go through each one. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Couple questions. So Officer Dressel, have you been made aware of any efforts that have been made to rectify any of these contraventions following the issuance of your order? Has there been any like low-hanging fruit such as eavesdrops or downspouts? Have you been made aware of any efforts?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you. There's discussion, it seems as if, so there's something I was given shortly before our hearing from the appellant, just kind of, it almost looks like a, I don't know, like just a rationale as to what direction the agent appellant wants to go in. It seems as if there's this discussion about it's easier to demolish the house. So with what I'm seeing, obviously, there's several clear contraventions of the property standards bylaw, but are these items, like I know the first item kind of was implying, you know what, we might be able to demo, but also it's I think it's a catch-all statement as well for maintaining as well. So I'm just trying to get a sense, is this something that it requires? I mean, I know there are urgent items. I know there's some health and safety issues going on. What, from your opinion, from what you see, all I see are pictures, and I have a very vague idea of what's going on. What's the most urgent thing? So how's the deck? Did you kind of get a sense that are the deck boards like, are they easily kind of giving out? Is there, because that's your main egress point from the building. So you'd hope that, you know, that's probably, I'd say, maybe a more pressing. Can you just share some of the more severe items?
Absolutely. So to answer your question about the deck, as I stated, while we were leaving the property, one of the Niagara Regional Police officers, his leg went right through the floorboard, breaking a hole through the deck on our way out. There was a property manager present. He patched that spot. The other issue we have is the lack of plumbing with people living in there. The other thing is the foundation crack around the rear is quite severe. It's going to take permits and some work to get that repaired. And then again, we can't see what's underneath the mess in that upper and lower unit. I don't know exactly what the floors look like in that upper unit as the garbage and waste is so deep.
Okay, no, that's I think that's all my questions for you. Thank you. Okay, so Member Neil, do you have any final questions for Officer Dressel?
I do not.
Okay, Member Nieto,
Neither do I.
thank you. Okay, so thank you, Officer Dressel. The appellant or agent may now present their appeal that they wish to make. Before doing so, I will have Madam Secretary Treasurer read you your oath of truth.
Ms. Keir, do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this arbitration is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I affirm.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay, so I did scan some just some notes that I sent, and that was more for myself. I didn't want to ramble on and not get to the point. And so first we looked at the three options that we had. One being the repairs, and we did receive an estimate for about 50,000. I don't see how all that's going to be getting repaired for 50,000. There's no way. There's too many issues to deal with. And the second option is the demolition, is what we're actually looking at. And the third option, if we cannot get financing, would be to sell. Even if we are to sell, I understand that in the meantime, we have to have a safe property for the people that are in there right now. The biggest issue we're having right now, we're having the tenant that's upstairs. That's why the police has been called a number of times. I don't want to give too many details because this is a public forum just to maintain his privacy, but it's been going downhill for the past little while, and homeless people have been let into the property. And so it's apparently gotten a lot worse than it was. So there's a hoarding situation going on. And our long-term goal, one of the very last page, before COVID, we actually talked to a planner because we were going to demolish at that time. And we were the problem is the interest rates went up and it wasn't financially feasible to do that. So we've kind of my parents are close to their 80s now. They're not capable, they're financially capable, or they're not able to take matters into their own hands. So me and my sisters are going to have to pay for this. And we're going to have to find a resolution as to how we're going to proceed. So I gave in there's a time frame that I gave. And I'm waiting on one more contractor to give us estimates. And then my sisters and I have to go for financing because my parents they don't qualify for money. They are senior citizens. They only have their pension right now. So it's up to me and my sisters to get the money in place. Then as soon as that's done, our next step is we've already talked to a paralegal, and we can then give a 120-day notice to the tenants for them to move. The issue we have with that is the tenant that's caused the biggest mess there is it's going to be a challenge. I don't know if he'll be willing to move or what we're going to have to do. I have a feeling we have to go through the tenancy board to deal with that matter. The property management team has told me it's been a nightmare. The police is called all the time because of the transient community is now like dumping stuff on the property as well. Travis contacted me. We had to get that cleaned twice. And I think the first time it was cleaned, it wasn't done, either it wasn't done properly or they came and dumped again. I don't know what happened, but Travis contacted me. We got that cleaned up. That's the biggest issue, is how do we remove that one tenant? Funding, I'm pretty sure we can figure out. That will get done. After the 120-day notice is given, if everything goes great and everybody leaves, then we can start the demolition process, apply for I guess the permit would have to be applied before we give notice, and dependent on the contractor and how long his time frame would be. So basically, we're asking for an extension for all this to take place. We need time. I know we were given about 4 weeks, but that's just getting contractors to give us estimates has taken longer just for the estimate part. And we live so far away. We're in BC. I have to go through a middleman to get things done. So that's a bit of a challenge, but we're working on it.
Okay, thank you for that. Officer Dressel, you have the opportunity to ask the agent any questions related to the presentation just given.
I don't have any. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with member Neil. Do you have any questions for the agent?
Yes. So I see on the plan drawing of the proposed townhouse, the year or the date was from 2021. When was the property purchased?
I'm guesstimating it would probably 8 years ago.
Were these tenants existing at the time of purchase?
Yes, they've been there for years. The one unit is now empty. He was there for 30 years and he unfortunately passed away. And so the back unit is actually empty right now. All these tenants have been here for years. Their rents are very, very low, and they've never been any problem. We've always known the property needs to be torn down. That's always been on our minds. It's just having the financial means to do it. We did get the plans done just to get an idea of what we would need in order to go and get financing to start this project. And then that was, like I said, around COVID, and then now interest rates have gone up. So financially, we can't do that, but we can demolish, at least get that part done where it's we don't have an issue with homeless people coming into the property because they're not leaving, and it's just going to become a bigger issue. If there's two there now, they're going to bring in more, and that's our fear.
So you said the one unit is empty, so there's only one legal tenant currently
There's two tenants in there.
in the one unit.
So there's 3 units and one is empty.
Okay, I thought I heard earlier that was a duplex.
It's a triplex.
So are these existing tenants they're on their own lease, or were they through like a third party government assistance organization? Like I guess where I'm going with that question is, has rent been regularly paid?
Yes, it has. We've never had an issue with rent, and I'm pretty sure there is a third party involved. That again is something that's dealt with by our property management team.
Mhm.
And we've never had any issues with any of the tenants. Like the police is being called, but there's been a deterioration in the mental health of one of the individuals. And like I said, it's just been spiraling out of control. It was never the case before. And since then is when he's let in other people off the streets into the property. And I mean, that's no excuse. The building still needs to go. I'm not trying to find excuses for that. The building it does need either extensive repairs or it needs to be demolished. And like I said, our goal is to get it done ASAP. We don't have time to sit around. It's hazardous.
So I think from the photos showing the condition of the building, I think it's a relatively obvious conclusion that demolition and rebuilding is probably the preferred option. But there's kind of two issues here. There's, if there were tenant issues creating the vandalism and the garbage issues, my question to that is why up until the property standards order has nothing been taken to the landlord tenant board to address, given that there was, I assume, a relatively good tenant also cohabiting the premises. And then the other aspect is, understanding that there's been a problem tenant, there is another tenant in this building, and the extent of the conditions that we're seeing in the building didn't happen overnight. So I guess I'm wondering, why was the attempts to repair or to deal with the conditions of the building or the tenants not taken sooner?
That's why I presented that plan. Was the whole point was to tear it down. It's just my parents are in their 80s, and by the time they retired, they could barely afford their own home. Like it financially became an issue. So that's why it's been passed on to the 3 of us now, my siblings and I. We need to take care of it. This needs to be dealt with. My parents are not capable, or financially or by other means, to deal with this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, understanding the circumstances in that situation, the tenants still deserve to live in a habitable space, and so a deteriorating house over many years, it's not a good impression, especially if there's been no follow up on existing tenants that are causing some of the vandalism. So I'm saying that it's not knowing all the background is it's difficult to kind of look at wanting to grant an extension on this when it looks like it's been many years in the making of progressively deteriorating of this building.
It's just that you have to also understand that these tenants have mental health issues. They won't let you onto the property and all that too. But like I said, financially, my parents have been struggling too, and the whole point was to tear it down, and that conversation started in 2020, which is why I presented the map to you, was to let's get this dealt with and let's do it. And then what happened was my parents, in their own financial struggles, this had to be put on the back burner. They survive off their pension. That's all they have. And like I said, they're elderly. They're close to their 80s. And that's why now it's become apparent that we need to do this right away and get it dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And when you live so far away, we're relying on property management, and when somebody's never spoken up or they've been paying their rent and you just kind of assume everything's okay until you see the pictures. And when we saw the pictures, the ones that Travis took and presented to us, I think it came as a shock to all of us. Like, this is how bad this property is. It was an eye-opener, and it's given my parents anxiety. It's given, us anxiety. Like, I don't think we even understood the extent of how bad it was inside.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Member Nieto, do you have any questions?
Yes. So I think Tom brought up some good points, but I wanted to check with some of the other items that you mentioned. So in those options, I know that you provided some options for like repair or for selling instead of demolition, hypothetically. So you said that you had gotten a quote for $50,000, but you thought that it was kind of lower and it likely would be higher. Do you have an idea of how much it would likely cost you to actually repair if it's not 50,000?
Yes, Brianna, I did a repair on a house that I had, so that's why I have some sort of an idea. And I remember I started at 40,000 and it ballooned to 100,000. I know when you start repairing one thing, another thing pops out, and you repair that and then another thing. It's such an old building. There is no way, just the foundation alone. I talked to Travis about this. I'm not a builder by any means. I don't know anything about, what things cost. And Travis told me, he said it's going to cost you at least 60,000 just to repair the foundation. And I mean, we can fill in the cracks, we can seal it, but are we really going to get rid of the pests? Like, they'll come in through a different way. I feel like the only solution really is to do a demolition and, start the process of where we give the notifications to the tenants so they have that time to find places. And, I know homelessness is a huge issue, and I saw the pictures and I felt I felt bad because I'm like that this needs to go, that this is not a place where anyone needs to be. So our goal is to get those notifications out as soon as possible so that they can make arrangements and they can find housing. And that's why I've been talking to the brokers to get our financing sorted out ASAP. And the sooner we can give the notice, the sooner they can start looking for a different place, the sooner we can demo.
Okay. And then the other option that you had on your list was about selling. And I wanted to ask if that is something that you're still considering or not. Because I know you referenced like interest rates have gone up, but they did, when you did the, I just forgot what it was called, the plan, when you did the plan for building, it was in 2021 and interest rates were quite low. You've only really recently started going up, and I understand they're kind of just teetering right now, just on the edge. And I also understand that housing prices in St. Catharines are still quite high. They're not as high as they were in the peak, but they're still quite high. And I also understand that it is possible to list a house as is, where is. I'm also not a real estate guru, but I do understand that you can do as is, where is. Is that an option you're looking at all, or is it option 2 on your list, demolition is the only one that you're looking at?
So option 3, if we cannot, for whatever reason, get financing, it will go on the market ASAP. I do have a bit of, I listed a property in Hamilton and it's sat on the market for close to 5 months. And I mean, we could put it on the market, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take. And that I know if we keep going back to 2021 was when these plans were made. So the plans to build actually started a couple of years before then. And my parents since have aged significantly. There's been some health scares. And by the time they sold their businesses, the house prices had almost doubled, if not more. So they didn't have the financial means to kind of go through with that plan. And that's why it's been sitting. So I think demolition would be our best option, even if we demolish it and then list it is another option. Just to get rid of, I know what's going to happen. If we put it on the market, the homeless people are still going to come. They're still going to use that place as a dumping ground and do further like damage. I mean, what more can you really damage? But it's pretty bad in there. But we don't want more people entering. So even if we were to sell, I think the best option would be to demolish it and then put it up for sale.
Okay. And you already spoke to the paralegal and they said 120 days is the minimum amount that you can give of notice?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're demoing, yes, that's the minimum. I've retained a paralegal that we have a paralegal that we're working with. We want to do this the correct way. And so it's easy to have just asked our property management to do it, but I wanted someone that actually knows the laws. So we've hired a paralegal.
Okay. All right. Those are all of my questions.
All right, thank you. Okay. I just want to go back to the quote, this $50,000 quote, and your comment about how you've been through renovations and how does what your property on Raymond Street compare to the renovations that you experienced? Are they similar? Are they similar instances, like property standards related issues?
Not even close. It was just an older house that needed, somebody had moved out. They'd been there for 15 years and they the house inside was fine, except to fix the roof, they tried to fix it on their own rather than approach me. And they had nailed through several layers of the protective layers on the roof, and then there'd been a leak. And because of that leak, I had thought I should get that repaired and looked at. And so then I had my contractor's name's Alex Levi. I sent this to Travis as well. That's the contractor I was working with, and it ended up being that we should work on the plumbing. It's too old. The electrical is too old, so we should update everything. So it just, when you start doing, like, there's already a leak in there, Travis said. So if there's a leak there could be leaks elsewhere. That's what I mean. Like, these contractors are going in, but sometimes they're denied access. So they're just kind of having to guesstimate how much it would cost.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. I'm just trying to contrast. Yeah. Was this another rental property that you had to do repairs on?
So that property is in Hamilton, and that's mine. That's not anything to do with my parents. That's my rental property that I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. So how long have you had your property manager for looking after the Raymond Street property?
Brick Properties, I would say around that 8-year mark when we purchased. It would have been with Brick. If there was an overlap, there might be. If it's like, say, 9 years, then it would have been, it was called Sky High Property Management. It would have been just those two.
Okay. And I'm not as familiar as to what their standard contractual obligations are, what their procedures are to inform the owner. I would imagine they have to go in these, especially if it's a multiplex, there's different rules. I would imagine maybe fire extinguishers, things of that nature, perhaps. They have to go in and verify these things. So do they provide you reports with photographs showing that they've done all of this?
So generally what they tell us is they go and do inspections for the fire alarms, and they do walkthroughs. And I think that is the biggest challenge when you're so far away. You're relying on this middleman to do be your eyes and ears. And so we've had them for so long, so we've always relied on them. And the plan that I sent you, we specifically said, because they had said that the property needs a bit of work. So, my parents said, okay, let's just tear it down, because we knew that it's going to come to a point where we need to do something with this property. And so, like,
just to go back to my original question, do they give you a report with pictures and give you updates on a certain period of time? Is it a monthly or quarterly kind of report?
No, they don't.
So you're kind of hoping that you get informed. Is that the relationship?
That's exactly it. And I think that's why it came as such a shock when Travis sent me the pictures, and we didn't expect it to be that bad.
Okay. Okay.
Again, I'm not trying to point fingers at others. This is something we need to deal with.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So let's just say it was purchased in 2015. You had a tenant that was there for, I think you said 30 years. Maybe you were there through that. And then So how long have you been aware of maybe not exactly what we saw in the photos, but that kind of general type of living with hoarding and mold and that inadequate plumbing? How long have you been aware of that?
I don't think we were ever aware of it being like that internally. Externally, we were we saw like pictures of the paint was peeling off, for instance, and we need to deal with the eaves, the soffits and that. And that was actually exactly when we decided to tear it down. Internally, we had no idea of what the conditions really were.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if it's just did it get worse over the past little while when the homeless people started coming in, or is it been, I mean,
It's a tough
it looks,
evaluation.
yeah,
It's especially if you don't know what the inside is, but you feel it's just better to demolish. Do we know if that's the case? I don't know, especially if you didn't really know what's going on the inside.
I
Um,
think, I think it needs to be demolished and it needs to be done ASAP. I have 3 estimates now, so they're ready to go. I
yeah.
just need to get funding and then
Okay.
give them the notices.
Okay. Okay. So, um, just more of a statement. I'm just trying to get my head around all of it. Just so you understand where we're coming from, we have people living in a building, there's safety and health issues. From a business evaluation, you see it best to demolish, but we have to still talk about what the issues are and not say, yeah, okay, from a business perspective and a return on investment, it's better to demolish because that's not what we're here for. You mentioned anxieties and fears. This is where even officers or fire departments or people who need to use that building, which there's anxieties there because people with mental health issues, it actually creates more of a hazard in some cases, maybe not all cases, but in some cases it creates a higher risk and a higher hazard. So I'd say sometimes that's where you really need to start repairing and maintaining houses so they operate as safely and effectively as possible. Um, okay, so this is sorry, I'm going off of a script here. Sorry to be so scripted. Yeah, so this is an opportunity where if for the committee to circle back and ask any questions. So we'll start with member Neil. If you have any following questions for Mrs. Bitar.
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Member Nieto?
I don't necessarily have a question. I just was calculating roughly what 120 days from now is. And so it's looking like it's early April. Yeah, early April. And then obviously there's a few things that have to happen before that. So just for context, I just wanted to put that out there. That's all.
Okay. Okay, so we're at the point for closing submissions. Um, so if the city's case presenter can proceed first, followed by the appellant. If Officer Dressel or Officer O'Kane has any closing submissions.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The city doesn't have any further comments to make. We would just like to say, based on the evidence provided, we are requesting that the order be confirmed as written.
Thank you. Okay. So Mrs. Batar, do you have any closing submissions you'd like to make?
I think I've said what I needed to. I just would appreciate some time just to get things done. We were given 4 weeks. It's just getting contractors to give us some estimates has taken that long. And same with banking, approaching banks, I have to provide financials and everything. Like I said, we're working on it. And once we give the notice, I mean, they might just leave right away, or if we have that one problem tenant, it might take a bit longer. But we have our fingers crossed that they will leave ASAP, and we can start on our project to demolish, and then from there we'll figure out what to do next, whether it's sell or build on it. And I priority is to clean up that property and have those tenants go to a safer location.
Okay, thank you. So if there are any members of the public in attendance that wish to speak, clearly state your name, address, and postal code to the secretary and follow with your comments, please.
I don't believe we have any. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, none noted. I know we were having some technical issues going into closed session. Are we, did we figure that out, Jane?
I'm not sure that we have figured
Oh,
that out yet. We're still
no
working on that.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so
Our planning committee coordinator is trying to work on that. Did you want her to work on going in closed?
you know what, I'm okay with it. I'm just like last time, I'm just gonna go through some of my notes. I don't know if any of the members, this is our opportunity to make a motion. So if any members want to bring forth a motion, please do so. I'm gonna just take a minute to kind of review my notes here. I'd like to bring forth a motion to confirm items 1 through 17 as is. Is there a seconder?
I will second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so all in favor? All right, 3-3. Okay, so we, the undersigned, duly appointed members of the Property Standards Committee of the Corporation of the City of St. Catharines, constituting a majority of the said committee sitting on the 14th day of December 2023 to hear an appeal from Order 23-113447 PR of the Property Standards Officer dated the 3rd day of November 2023, and having considered all the evidence filed and representations made, make the following decision: that in the opinion of the committee, the order meets the general intent and purpose of the property standards bylaw and the city's official plan, and direct that item 1 through 17 be confirmed. In accordance with the Building Code Act, the municipality in which the property is situated, or any owner or occupant or person affected by the decision of the Property Standards Committee, may appeal to the Superior Court of Justice by notifying the clerk of the municipality in writing and by applying to the court within 14 days after a copy of the decision is sent. This concludes all our scheduled hearing for today. Thank you to all the participants for today's hearing. The case presenter and appellant are now able to leave as we continue on with today's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? So does this mean I have to wait or for a
So,
decision?
sorry. So what we did is we've confirmed the order, and so what you'll do is you're going to receive a notice of decision via mail. If you choose
Perfect.
to appeal that decision,
Perfect.
then you send a letter to the clerk of the municipality and move forward with that. Okay.
Perfect. So I just have to wait for that decision to come through then.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to make a decision at this meeting or how that worked. Thank you for clarifying that.
So to be clear, the decision is made that we confirm the order. So the decision has been made, and then you'll receive a formal written decision. So just capturing what our decision was here today, and then you have the opportunity to appeal that. Okay.
Okay. All right. So then in that decision is where I will read whether I was granted an extension or not.
You were not granted an extension. So
Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand.
okay, so yeah, there are opportunities. It would have been stated, we would have extended, we would have said confirmed with an extension. But in this situation, we just confirmed the order as is.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Okay. So I see her name, but I believe she's gone now. You're just going to need to unmute there, Jane. Oh. Okay.
Zuki, you can sign off now.
Oh, there we go.
Can leave the hearing.
Maybe we could just remove her. I don't know who's hosting.
Alex, can we remove her?
I don't believe so. No. Oh, she logged off.
There she is. Okay.
Yep, she's gone. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. So now we're at the point for new business. Are there any motions for new business?
There are none.
I wouldn't call it a
Oh.
motion, but I would like
Oh.
to look into
Sorry.
getting the closed sessions operable. That might have been a good discussion to have today.
Yeah, yeah. So good.
Yeah, I believe that Rosa is working on that, Tom. Oh, okay. Yeah. Can you do a motion to adjourn the meeting and then we can chat after?
Sure. Motion to adjourn.